Clara does insane damage, guys, and she acts as a tank for the team. Clara is just built kind of differently, guys. I know a lot of people at the beginning of the game were saying, oh, Clara not good, Clara have too many turns. No, Clara is goated, guys. Clara does so much damage. Mr. Svarog here, Star Platinum Jotaro. She's basically the girl version of Jotaro. And yeah, so let's talk about a build guide for her. Alright guys, so first we'll talk about her skills, then we'll talk about what light cones you should use for her, then talk about the traces, relics, Eidelons, and then a showcase at the end. So let's go ahead and talk about the skills first. So as far as what her skill does, guys, she's going to be dealing physical damage to all enemies. She'll be dealing additional damage to enemies if they are marked by Svarog mark of counter, which this comes from the talent, which we'll talk about now. As far as what the talent does, guys, is whenever Clara is hit, they'll be receiving a mark, and this mark will basically reduce the amount of damage that Clara is going to receive when being attacked by these enemies. Also, Svarog will be dealing more damage if the enemy is marked with a counter, meaning just more damage all around. And then finally, her ultimate's going to be reducing the damage she receives by an extra 18%, increases the chance she is going to be attacked, is going to be increasing the amount of damage that Svarog does to the enemy for 2 times, and also Svarog's counter will trigger whenever any of your allies are attacked, so this is just really good all around. Like I said, very good for breaking enemy shield and such like that, because she only has a 110 energy cost. She's dealing physical damage, so each one of these counters is going to be slowly eating away at the enemy shield, barring you're taking her into a situation where physical damage is the main thing there. So guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about her traces now, which play really closely with her skills. The first big node that you're going to get here, guys, is going to be kinship. Basically, when attacked, there is a 35% fixed chance to remove a debuff placed on them, meaning whenever she's attacked, she has a 35% chance to remove a debuff on herself. Under protection is basically going to be reducing the amount of crowd control debuffs that can proc upon her. And then finally, revenge is going to increase Svarog's counter damage by 30%. Obviously, guys, this is the best one. You want to be increasing this counter damage as much as possible, because this is the main source of your damage, is going to be Svarog's attacks. Second best is going to be under protection, because if you're crowd controlled, Svarog can't come out and attack. And finally, guys, kinship would be the last one you want to upgrade if you haven't upgraded any of your nodes yet, but this is the order of nodes I would go in. I would go in the order of revenge first, then under protection, then finally kinship. Now, as far as the skill goes, guys, what you want to be doing is you want to be probably upgrading the talent first, because this is going to directly correlate with Svarog's damage with counters. Secondly, you want to be upgrading the ultimate, because it reduces the amount of damage she'll actually receive more, and also on top of this is going to increase Svarog's damage. And then finally would be this skill right here, which if the enemy has a mark is going to do additional damage to them. So that's the order I would go in as far as the talents go, or the traces go, I should say. Let's talk about light cones, what light cones are usable on her, what light cones you should use for her, and so on and so forth. So right now I'm using a secret vow. As far as what the secret vow does, it's going to be increasing the damage dealt by the wearer by 20%, and then an additional 20% damage when the enemy has higher HP than you. So this comes in really clutch, and if you're getting attacked all the time, you're probably going to be proccing this off a lot. So that's going to be an extra 40% damage dealt to the enemy with this card alone. At base, it's going to be 20%, which is still really, really good, because there's no stipulation behind the 20%. I think this is one of the best light cones you could probably use for, and honestly, this is one of the best light cones you could use on any of the destruction characters in the game right now. Now, talking about another option that I just have would be this one right here, the mole welcomes you. I mean, this one's okay. This basically scales off of your attack skill and ultimate. Basically anything you do, you're going to be getting an attack stack every single time you use this of 24% at S5. At S1 it's a lot lower than this. So yeah, I mean, this one's alright for her. I mean, it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. This is decent for her. So as far as what her best in slot is, it's going to be something irreplaceable. She's on the light cone card. This is going to be the best in slot for her. This is going to be increasing her attack by 24%. When the wearer defeats an enemy, immediately restores HP equal to 8% of the wearer's attack. The wearer's damage is increased by 24% until the end of their turn. This can only happen once per turn. Yeah, like I said, this is just really good for her, guys. It's going to be increasing her attack, which inherently increases Svarog's attack. So Svarog is going to be dealing more damage. Another good option here would be on the fall of the Aeon for her, because this is going to be increasing her attack when in battle. This is going to activate whenever the wearer attacks. And also when the wearer inflicts weakness break, is going to be giving you a 12% damage increase multiplier at level 1 and a 24% at level 5, or max in position here. So yeah, this is also just pretty good. The attack also stacks up to 4 times as well. This is just going to be giving Svarog an extra damage boost, so this is just pretty good for Clara as well. I mean, honestly, all of these work decently well on Clara, so I mean, you could really use any of these on Clara and do a decent job. I would say best in slot, something irreplaceable. Second best in slot, probably on the fall of the Aeon or a secret vow. These two are just really cracked, and then you can go from there. Halt, gamers, or Svarog will get you. That's right. If you don't subscribe to the channel right now, Svarog will get you. If you're one of those 98% of people that aren't subscribed, you better subscribe for real build guide content, or like I said, Svarog will get you. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and stop cringing and talk about the relics. Alright guys, hopping into the relics now. I'm running right now 2-piece boxing and 2-piece musketeer. The 2-piece musketeer can help because you are getting a 12% attack increase with it. I wouldn't recommend going into a 4-piece musketeer just because it increases your speed and you want Clara to go as slow as possible. And you'll see that as we go through the rest of the build here, guys. The best set to run would be the 4-piece boxing, guys, just because at a 4-piece is going to be basically increasing your attack for every time the wearer is hit, and she is the main person getting hit on the team, guys. So that is the main thing you'd want to focus on there, is just getting that 4-piece champion. But if you can't get that, then that's fine. The set bonuses really don't matter until you get like good stats on your gear. You want to really be just focusing on the main stats here. If you can get the main stats correct, then you should be good to go. As far as our planner set goes, guys, we are running a 2-piece Salsado. The reason why we're running 2-piece Salsado here, guys, is because it does give us that extra 15% follow-up attack damage, which that's what Svarog is. We give him 15% extra damage, which is just really nice for Clara. It also gives us increased crit rate as well. You do want to reach a 50% crit ratio to actually hit this, guys, and I was struggling to hit this crit rate. I'm not gonna lie, guys. As you can see right here, we're at a 55% crit rate. Now I just gotta focus on crit damage really, but yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the main stats now and you'll see why. Hopping into the boots now, guys, I'm just running attack percentage on the boots. Attack percentage on the boots just seems to be the best. It gives Svarog the most attack, it gives him the most damage to do, and yeah, that's just what I would run here on the boots. I personally wouldn't run speed here just because you want her to be as slow as possible, because you want her to counter as much as possible. You also want the uptime on her ult and her abilities to be pretty long too, so yeah, that's the reason why we're not running speed here. On the body, guys, we're going to be wanting to focus into crit rate here. The reason I'm focusing into crit rate on the body is just because we're trying to hit that 50% crit threshold. We're at 55% right now. If you've already reached that with your substats alone, you can run crit damage here. This is flexible to either crit rate or crit damage. On this sphere here, guys, you do want to be running this physical damage boost. This is just going to give the most out of Clara because she does physical damage. So yeah, I do have speed here, which is very, very cringe, but we rolled a pretty high crit damage ratio. Come on, guys. Okay, give me a break here. As far as the link rope goes, guys, we're just going to be running attack percentage on it. Like I said here, all you just want to run is attack percentage to give Svarog the biggest boost possible to do more damage for you. And yeah, that's really it as far as that goes. Alright, guys, hopping into some of the substats now. The things you want to be focusing on is crit rate, crit damage, break effect, attack percentage, and also some defensive substats. If you can get any defensive substats, whether that be effect resistance, HP percentage, defense percentage, anything that will help you defensively will be really good for her, just because she is going to be targeted the whole time for attacks. With everything for the relics out of the way now, guys, let's go ahead and talk about some of the Eidelons. So guys, as far as the Eidelons go, E1 is actually really, really good because using the skill will not remove any of the marks of counter, meaning you're going to keep dealing additional damage from the skill usage, and also you're going to be dealing additional damage from Svarog's counters as well. E2 is going to increase the attack by 30% for 2 turns whenever you use the ultimate, which just means Svarog's going to be dealing more damage. E4 is going to be reducing the damage taken by Clara by 30%, which is really, really good. And E6, guys, is if an ally is hit, Svarog's going to have a 50% fixed chance to trigger a counter, and also mark them as well. Also, when using the ultimate, it's going to increase the amount of enhanced counters by 1, so that means you'll have an extra hit of enhanced damage whenever the ultimate is used. So yeah, guys, overall, her Eidelons are pretty good. I would say E1 is just really cracked. I would say all of her Eidelons are pretty cracked, but E1 is really, really good because you're not going to be removing that mark of the counter when you're actually attacking the enemy. Alright, guys, kind of hopping into a character showcase now with Clara. What we're bringing on is going to be Yukong, Ting Yun, Natasha, and then Clara herself. The reason why we're bringing Clara and Ting Yun is because their buffs will last off turns, which is really nice, which causes for more counterattacks. As you can see, look how much damage she's doing. 13k in attack, man. She is popping off. Let's go ahead and give her the Ting Yun buff as well. The reason why we're going to give her the Ting Yun buff is so she can go ahead and ult and just to have an extra ability up. Realistically, I probably should have held off until after her turn to use it, just so the Ting Yun damage buff would have stayed for a lot longer. You can also use the skill too if everyone has a Marcus Svarog buff, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you have E1. I would just keep the buff on and not even mess around with it unless they're like really low or something like that. As you can see, another 17,000 damage there. Yeah, she's going crazy with it, dude. Yeah, like I said, the speed as well. Also, like right now, right? If we use Yukong's ability here, let's go ahead and use Yukong's ult as well, just to get some crit rate and crit damage up. When both of these enemies attack, they are both gonna be hit with this 33k, dude. Holy! Let's go ahead and heal up too. We're still getting that crit rate, crit damage buff too. Yeah, just go ahead and summon them in. Oh, you're gonna counter? You know what's funny about the counter? Oh wait, we out of the buff. Okay, I thought I'd say, you know what's funny about the counter? Just hit that just hit like a basic attack with Ting Yun, and then once you hit that basic attack with Ting Yun, it'll just go in and attack Clara as well. So it kind of goes crazy with that. Okay, the buff's over with. Smoj, Sag, and I'm Malding now. Let's just go ahead and honestly, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna attack him because I know he's gonna do some attack this round. Okay, well, I didn't expect you to attack my Ting Sneed, dude. That's one of the downsides is you can't always get, like, the exact RNG you want for Clara. Hey, yo, let's go! 4,000 damage. That's, like, the lowest damage I've seen so far from Clara. But you know what? It doesn't matter, guys. You want to know why? We're just going to go in and attack here. We'll just go ahead and heal up our Ting Sneed here. Let's go ahead and just, honestly, let's just go ahead and see what Marcus Farg damage is. 18,000 damage. Let's go ahead and use the ult here as well, guys. Yeah, we're gonna pop off here. We're gonna pop off here. Watch. Yeah, for the buff as well. Oh, we almost have the ult up there too. So pop. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. I clicked the wrong button. Okay, guys. 13k damage though. As you look how much damage we're doing per rotate. Like 13,000. We're not even break. This is not even shield break damage. This is just every time she is getting hit, she is doing this damage. It's insane the amount of damage that she's able to do, guys. So yeah, I mean, literally, she's being our main DPS, and look how SP positive we are too, because we're not using her skill at all. So we just keep going through all of the rotations without using her skill one bit. So we just get like so many skill points. So you could technically run this team without even Yukong, right? Or you really want Ting Yun would be really nice for you. You don't really need these characters. You could run like a DPS. She could just be your sub DPS. But I mean, look at this damage here. Bink, 19k. It's just so much damage. Oh my gosh, 28,000 damage. Okay, guys, I know you just saw that 28,000 damage from Clara there, guys. Okay, she's gonna get hit again. Don't even worry about it, because 13,000. Dude, she just does so much damage. Now, do keep in mind, this is only stage 1 of MOC. I haven't, MOC just reset for me, so I haven't done MOC yet. But yeah, we're absolutely just destroying the stage right now. Okay, yeah, just go ahead and attack her. It doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, I forgot her buff went off. I keep forgetting her buff goes off sometimes. I misplay a lot, as you can see here, but it really doesn't matter because she literally just does so much damage. Even if you misplay, you still do a bunch of damage. Yeah, attack her again, 7k. We'll take the extra 7k. You know what we'll also do with this? It's going to be really cool when this happens right here. Watch this right here, guys. Okay. Oh, wait, I thought this was going to go differently. Oh, wait, here we go. Yeah, this works fine. Marcus Farog, 10k damage. Go ahead and get hit. Go ahead and blast off again, another 6k damage, then ult up again. Guarantees the ult just do even more damage on top of this. Oh, you're going to attack her even with that? Oh, it's okay. 18,000 damage. Get rolled, kid. Now, I will say with the light cone, when the enemies get lower HP, it is a lot harder to do damage. It is a lot harder to do the damage you need to do with it. And that's because the light cone only gives you that 40% damage increase when the HP is higher than your HP. So if it's not the case, then you're not doing the extra damage here from the secret vow. So it's really good at the beginning of boss fights. That's why I said she's a really good sub DPS. She can take the bosses down to really low HP really fast. But as far as finishing the enemies off, it's a lot harder for her to do because she does lose an extra 20% of damage, which is kind of down bad. Alright guys, talking about some of the comps and like people you can run with Clara, right here is probably one of her best comps because she has Yukong, Ting Yun, and also Natasha just for healing her up. She has Ting Yun for the buffs and the ultimate gauge. You basically get the ultimate back on her quicker, and then Yukong for just increased crit damage and crit rate, which makes her damage even more insane. She also gives a pretty big attack increase as well. So this is probably the best team to run for. Really, you can run her on any team, guys. She's very SP positive because you really don't use her skill that much. You just use her normal ability and just use her ult whenever you have it. Most teams you can fit her into, as long as they don't have CC. CC will kind of screw her over because you do want the enemy attacking as much as possible, just so Clara is getting hit more, guys. Alternative teams you could run her on, I mean, I like running her with a healer because mine is really squishy. She dies really quick. But, I mean, you could, like, run a March 7th here to make her get aggroed more, along with giving her a shield to survive a bit more. That's also an option you could run here, guys. If you're running something like this, you probably wouldn't even need Natasha. You could run another DPS here just to do some more damage. Then you have Ting Yun to support SEELA and Clara. Or alternatively, what you could do is run a Yukong here, because Yukong could technically support both of these characters depending on how much speed your Yukong has. You could run something like this without a healer and just run March 7th and just keep making her get targeted for attacks. So, I mean, there's a bunch of different things you could run, but I wouldn't run anything that CCs enemies. Like, I wouldn't be running anything that freezes enemies. I wouldn't be running anything like Wealth that slows the enemies. And I know March 7th can freeze the enemies, but as long as you don't use her ult too much, or if you don't have like a high effect rate, you won't be freezing the enemy anyway. But her skill ability just comes in really clutch for Clara. But like I said, Welt does not work well because you want the enemy going as much as possible to hit you as much as possible, to do as much damage as possible. Because every time you get hit, you deal like 10k damage as long as they're over 50% HP. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video on Clara's little build guide here. It might be a little bit scuffed because I did re-record some parts for like the relics and stuff like that, because I recorded the first part of this video like a month ago, and I've done a lot of improvements to my Clara since then. So I felt it only be necessary to give you guys my best build on her right now, even though I recorded it a month ago. So yeah, it might be scuffed with the audio and stuff like that, but just know I did it for you guys, so you guys could get my best Clara build guide. Anyways, that's really gonna do it for today's video, guys. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Make sure to follow the channel or subscribe to it anyways to get the most up-to-date content for Clara. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully everyone enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Later. Bye-bye.